starting any exercise program, always get cleared by primary care doctor.
Hey there, Jed Coburnis here with the Exercise Physiology Show, where I talk about physiology of the mind, physiology of the body, and the physiology of the spirit. This is episode number 67. Yep, I'm gonna go with 67. If not, it'd be 68, but you know, all of those, they're only numbers anyway. This is brought to you by YGT Fitness at jedcoburnis.com. And what that does, it saves you what all of us want back, right? Want more of, which is time. Okay, go check it out. Today's episode is about giving and buying, right? Big difference. So this is a little bit of a spiritual episode. If you know, I am a believer in God. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. So if that is not you, right, if that is not your forte, great, that's okay. But this episode is the physiology of the spiritual side. So just throwing it out there. If there are people out there who might be, you know, non-believers, whatever be, that's okay. I'm just saying this episode right here is a little spiritual. So here we go. Let me tell you this story. Not necessarily a story, but a few months back, my daughter got a Bible from our church, and it's a children's Bible, which I can appreciate because the stories in it are very easy to read, very easy to comprehend, and sometimes my reading and comprehension is not great, so I appreciate that. So this story in particular comes from Saturday night. I try to read to her most nights of the week from the Bible, just randomly opening pages. And from this last weekend, I opened it up, and it was a story about when Jesus was sitting, and they were by some money box, right? And a rich man with flashy robes, lots of money, wanted to make sure everybody knew that the money he was giving, everybody saw it, and the exact amount went into the money box, right? Lots of money went into the money box, but, you know, whatever. He wanted everybody to know that he was giving. And then the poor widow comes up and gives very, very secretly, right? Like, she doesn't want anybody to know that she's giving anything. And she gives to what's called a mite, which is, you know, not very much at all. Didn't know that. And that's all she had. Literally, that's all she had. So Jesus was saying to his disciples that, you know, he asked them, which one gave more? Well, it's not a monetary value of what you give, right? It is what you're able to give and what you want to give. It's what God gives you and allows you to give, because it's all through Him anyway, right? But in that instance, she gave way more because it came from her heart. It came from a place of, you know, gratitude. And I think that's the difference between giving, right, and buying. You can give with, you know, and know that there's nothing else happening. That's not really giving. That's just kind of letting it float, right? Kind of letting it go somewhere without any intention, and that doesn't help anybody. But our pastor, what the crazy part of all of this is I randomly open up that book, you know, our children's Bible, Saturday night, and Sunday the next day, that was the sermon, right? That was the gospel reading, and then he was talking about the difference between buying and buying and giving. He was telling us what was wrong with giving. That was crazy because, you know, churches and people in the ministry, they ask for money, which is fine, and you give. But he said there's a problem with that. You have to buy into what you believe in. And I resonated with that so much. Like, it hit me pretty hard because he talked about stewardship. And stewardship essentially is just managing, right? You're a manager of resources and being a buyer instead of a giver, right? You're managing your resources, no matter if it's money, no matter if it's time. If you're a steward, you're a manager, right? So that's what it is today, maybe I challenge you to rethink of how you give and rethink how you manage your resources, whatever that resources looks like for you. Because when you buy into something, whether that's yourself, whether that's, you know, literally monetizing or buying something, there's a two-way relationship there. It's not just one way. And that's, I think, what I do really well is I sell you, right? I'm selling you back to you, and you buy into it. I'm not selling you anything that you can't handle, because that's not what God's intention is. You need to buy into yourself and believe into yourself again. That's why I bring this up today, because that hit me so hard that I'm a steward of resources through God, and all I'm doing is selling yourself back to yourself. And I hope that makes sense. Just let that sink in. And the only way you're ever really going to give is if you buy into it. And what I mean by that is our pastor told us a perfect story. It was a great story, right? So the collection plate goes around in a church, okay? A gentleman realized he forgot his cash at home to give, right? So he started writing a check, and he opened up the Bible, and he didn't want anybody to see it that he was writing a check. And this person noticed, and she thought he was writing in the Bible, which that's just kind of funny, kind of a sidebar. But and then he was trying to not, make it noticeable that he was writing this check, and he made it out for 30, and he started writing, and somebody kept looking and thought really that he was just writing in the Bible. And then he started tearing the check off, trying to be very, very, very quiet, wasn't paying attention to much. And then the collection plate came around, and he put in the check, and all of a sudden, he looked at it, and it said 300 and not 30. And he was kind of freaking out, right? He was kind of freaking out. And he was like, I don't even know if we have enough money in our account for that. I have to feed my family. We have to pay bills. We have to do all of this. But the true essence of giving and buying and being in faith of God, that He will provide everything to you, that your own mind was created from Him, that your mind can give you anything. And right there, his moment all of a sudden switched, because he was like, you know what? I've never felt so alive, because I believed in so much of God that He would provide for us no matter what. And right there, he never felt so alive because of that. So that's a big deal. If you can really grasp on what that means, he put so much faith into that check that he wasn't worried about where, how he's going to pay the bills, how he's going to feed his family, because his faith right there was solely buying into God. So much that it wouldn't even, he didn't bat an eye after that. Didn't matter. Had nothing more into his account to give. Probably, it's what he was thinking. But it didn't matter. He was thinking, you know what? The giving of that check made him feel alive because the Spirit was within him. So become a buyer into yourself, become a buyer, and look for that two-way street. Look for that two-way street, two-way relationship versus just giving and it's only a one-way relationship right there. Not that you would expect anything ever, right? I mean, you don't give to expect anything in return. That's not the point of giving, but you should buy in, right? That's my suggestion, is to buy into it and really mean it and really believe in it. No matter if you have it or not. Like, you don't just believe and go through life and then only give 10% of your earnings, right? I mean, you don't give 10% of your belief away, right? You don't give 10% of, God a chance. If you're in anything in belief, then that's what it takes. You got to be all in and believing in yourself, and that is a two-way relationship. And it starts with you. So there it is. Like, comment, and share. Let me know if any of this makes sense. Share to anybody who you think may need to hear it. And as always, if you're willing to change from the neck up, you will change from the neck down. I believe in you wholeheartedly. I buy into you every day. Now it's your turn. Have a great day. Bye for now.